last night's trap in between the 2 days of this year's National Forum for Biological Recording Conference, which is happening virtually this year, so it means I can be down here and do some biological recording on my site between the 2 days of it. So what I did last night was I had a few moth traps out here in the reserve, 5 of them in fact. It was, morning Fiona, it was a very cold night, and between 5 traps we captured 4 moths, so that was remarkably poor. But we will very quickly have a look at the moths that we got, just so we can have seen them. And then I will head away and get ready to go along to today's conference. So, of the species we got, the first one, let me turn the camera around. There we go. Which I'll first of all show you in this pot is a brindled pug. That may not be focusing, so I'll put it in here. And we'll have a look over here, where there's not much else to look at. So that should be brindled pug, Eupathia abbreviata. A very common moth at this time of year. Feeds on, what does it feed on? I think it feeds on oaks and trees like that, of which there are lots in the reserve. But a couple of them came to light, only show you the one. So that was a brindled pug, common species. Another common species, though I don't think I've shown this year on these broadcasts, but it's the first one on this site, so for the year, is a shuttle-shaped dart, a Grottis puta, P-U-T-A. Another common species, feeds on a variety of broad herbaceous plants. The colours can vary quite a lot. This is a relatively dark example. I'm not entirely sure what they vary with, but there's lots of variation on it. And you might be able to see on about the middle of the wing this sort of marking here, which is said to look a bit like a shuttle, so a weaving shuttle, hence shuttle-shaped dart, as far as I can tell. So again, another common species, Grottis puta. And then one more species, this is coming up, is the least common of the species we got, though it's still not particularly rare. Oops, it doesn't want to come out of the pot. So that is a least black arches. I'll keep it in the pot because it doesn't want to behave. But least black arches, probably blackthorn is its food plant in here, although it does feed on other things. Birch is another common food plant, but we don't have a lot of that. And it does sometimes feed on things like apple and oak. It's the least common of the ones we got last at the session anyway, was least black arches. So yes, 4 moths, 5 traps. It's very poor. You've seen 3 of the moths, the other one was another brindled pug. They were flying around when I went through them this morning. Quite a few Philonericta haricellas, which is a very small, pale micro moth. Very attractive, rather like it. But I didn't manage to net one because I was taking the traps down and so on, rather than trying to capture them. So I haven't got one of them to show you. And the only other thing that was in the trap, which may or may not be very visible in this pot, is a bug of some kind, a Tropteran bug. Oops, there we go. Haven't had a go at identifying this yet, so not sure I know what it is. I think it's one of the myrid bugs. We'll leave it there, but I will have a look at that a bit later on and see if I can work out what it is a bit better. So that was it. That was all the moths we got last night. It was a very poor night. So I'd very briefly pop on, show people those, and we'll end having a look at this least black arches.